Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Two Girls with Cancer. I am your host, Becky, and I am joined by the lovely
Ashley,
as usual. And we are back today to lecture everyone on their diets.
Pretty much.
Not like I'm one to talk or anything,
but at least we've been working on it and getting there.
I have been very good lately. Like I
Mhm.
even felt guilty yesterday making popcorn, and not like bagged popcorn. Like I made it on my stove in coconut oil, and I still was like, oh, I shouldn't eat this. This is a grain.
Oh, see,
Corn is a grain.
I'll pour a ton of butter and salt.
Oh yeah,
still.
There's lots of butter. Don't worry.
Right.
Actually, I bought butter flavored olive oil from Evu. It's very good.
Interesting. I have to try that.
Yeah.
What brand is it?
From Evu, like that store. They have them all over Edmonton. There's one at the Enjoy Center. There's
yes. Oh yeah. I know which one.
Anyway, so yeah, we're talking today about the alkaline diet. Now, I haven't started it yet. I am mentally preparing myself to do this. I have done a lot of research on it. It has been recommended to me post live blood analysis to do this because I have an acidic inside. So I am just preparing myself for it. So I'm not an expert on it by any means. I'm just someone who's done some research. But do you know anything about it? Have you heard of the alkaline diet?
Alkaline diet is so important for our bodies. Have I done it personally? No, but I try and eat as healthy as I can. The saying like no diseases can live in an alkaline diet, it's true. You have to make sure, like when I got blood work done last week, my urine was 6.5. So I'm a little under.
Yeah, you're acidic.
Acidic, right? Because you have the pH scale and 7 and higher. And then you don't want to be too alkaline because that also can be dangerous for you.
A whole other can of worms. So
right.
So basically the concept, sorry, I don't mean to cut you off.
I just need to get better. I thought I was doing great and here we are.
Yeah, I know. Like when I first got sick, I was eating, which I've now learned is an alkaline diet. It's mostly raw, mostly vegetables. But I hated it. Like I know that I should love it, but I didn't. I hated it.
And like protein, like meat's actually acidic.
Oh yeah.
And like a lot of people are probably like, oh, I'm eating protein, I'm doing this. It's like, but you have to counteract it with all the alkaline foods, and it's a lot.
So when I go through this, I'll go through the pros of having an alkaline diet, also the cons, because I want to make it even here. Okay, so the concept is that food changes your pH level in your body. pH means the potential of hydrogen, and it goes on a scale from 0 to 14. 0 being like the absolute most acidic thing ever. I think stomach acid falls around the 2 to 3 level, which is hydrochloric acid. 7 is neutral, and then above 7 is alkaline or basic. So the human body is around 7.35 to 7.45. I know the dogs are here.
So cute. I just noticed them. I'm like, they're still here.
Yeah, my dogs are here for once. If they start barking, I will be very angry. So, I mean, you can either be alkaline or you can be acidic. And the theory is that if you eat more alkaline foods, you'll be more alkaline. If you eat more acidic foods, you're doing more harm to your body. So, I mean, like if it's true, if eating more alkaline foods do good things for your body, then, I mean, maybe, just maybe, we should be doing it.
Exactly. And we should.
Yeah, but it is hard. And I also, it's very hard. Sorry, just don't mind me grabbing my water here. I also have a lot of beliefs about meat and protein and stuff as well that don't connect with the alkaline diet. And so, I mean, I'm no expert by any means. I don't know anything about anything. I say that about 10 times a day. I'm just someone who's basing this off of, research, and like my own experiences, right?
Same thing I did when I was first diagnosed with it and everything. And
then what can you do?
You just completely changed. I cut out refined sugar instantly. That was the hardest thing because it's in everything, and you're just like, okay, well here we go. And you think refined sugar means like, okay, I'm not eating candy, I'm not pouring white sugar into my coffee. But no, we're also talking your breads, your pastas, like anything made out of wheat, basically. Gluten. Some people even believe that
any sugar is like, even if it came from a fruit or vegetable, if it's carbohydrate, it's a sugar and your body's going to use it for energy when it has cancer, right? Like the cancer is going to eat it. I don't know how I feel. Like at the beginning of this journey, yes, 100%. I believe that. And then I don't know. I think at this point, like I'm too tired.
It's exhausting
to think about it anymore.
It's so exhausting.
I'm tired of research, but it's so important to like always do it, right?
Yeah.
So one thing about the alkaline diet that I've read is that it's not a weight loss diet. I mean, granted, when you're cutting out inflammation and you're balancing your pH, you're probably going to lose weight because your body is in a state where it can like be better, right?
It's like where it's getting better, right? You're detoxing the other stuff too.
Yeah, exactly. So once you get that stuff out, I think like weight doesn't want to be on your body. Like if people are like, well, I'm naturally overweight. No, you're not. Like that's not it. Your body has an optimal position. You might be like thicker boned or wider, but like your body doesn't want to be fat. Really, it's not good for it.
But you have to give it the right things and the tools that your body needs to survive successfully.
Sorry, I was waiting for a quiet moment so I could cough. I don't know what is going on.
Well, it's raining, stirring up stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. Hey, that's all this detoxing I'm doing.
Right.
But yeah, so I was reading on different things like where this falls as a diet, like ranked as a diet. And it wasn't overly high because it's not about that weight loss. It's about really like creating a better environment in your body for it to heal itself. Contrary to popular belief or like what you may think, your body can't heal when there's a lot of crap going on, right? Like that, if it's fully inflamed, it's not going to heal. If it's fully acidic, it is not going to heal. So you might think that you're doing everything right. Like, oh, but I eat whole grains. Oh, but I eat low fat dairy. Oh, but I only drink coffee one cup a day. Like,
but how much of everything are you, right? Like,
like if you are already at that state where you're acidic, like those things are just boosting it up. You're not helping your body by adding these things into it. But yeah, as we talked about, cancer and diseases love an acidic environment. And it also loves sugar. And guess what sugar is? Acid. So it's kind of like a full circle.
Right.
Yeah, but it is hard. And again, we're not judging anybody. We're not trying to lecture you. I was joking when I said that this was going to be a lecture episode because I am the first one to like buy a bag of candy, like Jelly Bellies. Sir, I am.
It's not easy, but
no,
to be able to like get on the right track or to start making changes.
Well, it's hard.
It is hard.
We talked about this in our yeast episode that when you have yeast in your body, yeast lives off of sugar. And as you cut out that sugar, the yeast is like, I need it.
It's a hard one to get rid of.
Which creates the cravings. And as yeast dies off, it's like releasing something that craves sugar again. And then you eat the sugar again so that you feed the yeast. Like that's a horrible cycle to break.
It's a vicious cycle.
So if you're like, I'm on a diet and all I want is like candy or chocolate or bread, it's not because you have no willpower. It's
there's something going on in
because
your body.
Your sugar is that hard, or carbohydrates, refined processed sugars are very hard to get rid of in your body. So no judgment. If you feel like this is a judgment episode, I am very sorry for that. That is
not at all
the intention. Okay, so which foods are alkaline? So fruit is the first one, but not all fruit apparently. So that's like adds to it as well. Like if you think, hey, I'm just going to like cut everything out and eat fruit and vegetables. Well, like you also have to be careful of like what you're doing, which sucks too. Cause like, can I just have a diet that has no restrictions? Like I just want to eat.
Right. It'd be so much easier.
Yeah. Like if you say I'm going to eat meat and vegetables, then let me eat meat and vegetables. Don't be like, oh, but like if you have
this
a potato, like that's no good. So that's very annoying. But anyway, fruit, I just wrote down a couple of things: apples, apricots, black currants, lemons, oranges, peaches, pears. So, I mean, that sounds okay. I like those things. I'm guessing banana is not on there because it's starchy and it's very high in sugar. But man, I love a banana. I love it. A banana with peanut butter.
I know that's like
I
one
think
of my
peanuts
favorites.
are on the no list as well.
That's because the way they grow, it's in mold.
Right. But what about a banana? If it's grown so perfectly in a bunch on a tree, but I don't know. Anyway, like
I actually was doing research too. Let's see where it.
Oh, really? Does it have different fruits and veggies on there?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what have you got around the 7 mark? Like, what does it say? Because that says it's what the...
Oh, right here. I don't know why it says that.
Most tap water? Ew. What Bill Gates organization did this chart come from?
Right.
I don't think this is a good chart.
Right. But well, they all say the same thing.
Well, maybe tap water is around a 7, but that does not ignore the fluoride and other chemicals and things in it. And like everyone's periods dumping into the toilets that go into our water system that we're drinking. And now boys have titties. Okay. So let's not even talk about that.
Okay. I can't find it.
Okay, that's all right. So vegetables that are good: asparagus, broccoli, carrots, celery, cucumber, green beans, spinach, leafy greens, sweet potato, avocado. Did I say avocado? No, but avocado oil and extra virgin olive oil.
And avocado is one of the best oils to use for cooking because it actually, if you look at it,
smoke point, right?
And because you can heat it to like a hot temperature without getting it.
Fun fact about oils. You like olive oil. I always cook with it because I don't even think about it. But you're not supposed to because you can't go past a certain heat.
It has to say it on the bottle. Really? And avocado does say it on the bottle. Avocado oil.
Yeah, avocado and coconut. Those ones are good. Yeah. And
I think coconut for me is just too much coconut. So I stick to avocado. See, I was never
spoons of it though. So you're like,
but I swallow. I just swallow that thing quick and wash it away with water. Oh, okay. I try not to think about it. I'm like, it's for my health. I
always wonder, people who don't like coconut, is it because you got really drunk on pina
I've never liked pina coladas in my life. I've never liked them.
I love it.
So for me, I was like, great, I have to swish this in my mouth.
Oh, I like it.
10 minutes.
I love it. Coconut oil, like we could do a whole episode just on coconut oil because of like how amazing this product is. But when I had horrible mouth sores from chemo, coconut oil, doing oil pulling, like
well, it's antifungal and antibacterial. That's so good. That's why I ingest, like, take a spoon every day.
I mean, it's also like lubricating everything up on the inside, I think too. So yeah, it's amazing. But yeah, anyway, back to the list. Extra virgin olive oil and avocado oil are on the approved list. Some no foods. The first one being red meat. That sucks. I love red meat, especially me as an O blood type and you as an O blood type.
Right.
Like if you tell me I can't have beef.
I know, I like my tacos. And I like them beef.
Like them beefy for sure. I agree. Like I love a good steak. I love anything with red meat really. Poultry. So that's your chickens, your turkeys, your
So what
birds,
do you eat?
Fish. So all meat. They could have just said all meat.
They could have.
Potatoes are
I will not cut out my meat. Sorry. I never did. And that's one thing for me. I've never cut out my whole cancer journey. Never cut out meat.
Yeah.
Even though I was told to.
When I get to the cons of this, it does talk about this as well. But yeah, potatoes, dairy, eggs, alcohol, processed foods, cold cuts. I knew I love a cold cut. I mean, we should probably anyway, because cold cuts, like, isn't there a listeria outbreak right now? And like cold cuts are number one. When you're pregnant, you can't have cold cuts because of listeria.
I still did.
Oh, really?
I hate a bologna sandwich.
Wow.
That was my thing.
I think like with your first baby, you're like trying so hard to be good. And then you like have so
much
I only
have one. I didn't have any.
But I'm just saying like by the second one, like I was eating sushi for sure. Really? I had deli meat on a sandwich. I don't know.
Oh, I loved it. I remember I posted my my bologna sandwich and you know how much shit I got from people. I was like, beat it. You're still smoking cigarettes and you're pregnant.
Yeah, exactly. Your baby's gonna come bologna sandwich. Pounds, right?
Like, I don't know. Each to their own. You do your thing.
Yeah.
I didn't have it.
I think
every single day.
A couple times. It's not like you're having like a couple drinks. Like you're having a couple bologna sandwiches. Right. I actually do like the taste of bologna in like such a weird, nostalgic way.
I might have one later.
Like I haven't bought it.
I haven't either.
Ever. I think I bought it once because my kids are like, "What's bologna?" And I bought it.
Whole journey, I haven't had it once.
Do you remember the mac and cheese bologna? Did you ever see that? It had like chunks of macaroni.
I don't think I've ever read that one.
My mom bought it when I was a kid, and we were like, "Oh my god, what is this?" It wasn't the worst. I hate that I liked it.
Oh, and that other one that I love, that's Spam.
Oh, Spam. Yeah, we talked about that.
Yes, we did.
It's like ham, but like mushier.
It's so bad for you. That's like probably past the 0 acidic line. It's so bad.
It just melts like metal. It touches it. It's just like
sure.
I think probably any processed meat or food is probably a good choice to get rid of. Like this list said, processed foods, cold cuts. Caffeine, that's a big one. So I'm guessing if you like to drink coffee, maybe decaf is your better choice. I don't know. Like when I drink,
I do one a day still
because I only want iced coffee like all the time now. Like to me, it's not because of the energy it gives me. I don't know.
Yeah,
I just like the flavor, and then I drink it, and then I actually don't like the flavor, but I still want it. Oats and wheat, grains, peanuts, walnuts, rice, and pasta. So those are all on our no-no list here, which is unfortunate because I like all of those things.
Right.
I can cut out alcohol. That one's easy. I could probably cut out processed foods, and like I don't need to buy Hamburger Helper or like Chef Boyardee.
Yeah, see, I don't do those.
Even though I like those things, I don't buy them. Andrew has them because he likes them. I'll have a couple bites or whatever, but yeah, everything else, that's tough.
It is tough. Meats are going to be hard for me.
But the thing is, the alkaline diet, this is not a lifetime thing. This is to get your body
back on track,
because you're not just cutting out acidity, you're helping everything
heal
in a way that it needs to, right? And so when it's starting to do those things, like even when you have food sensitivities, like you don't have to cut it out forever. You have to cut it out enough for your body to heal. So, okay, let's go to the pros of this, because right now, like even I'm listening to myself talk and I'm like, screw this diet. I am not doing it ever. This sucks. Nobody listen to us. But there are some positives to it. And I swear it is very important to do this if you have an acidic body. And you do. Sorry, what are words? You know that you are acidic if you have alkaline strips. If you can test your morning pee. It is going to be very acidic. I did read something that said test your second pee of the morning. That is a better indicator. And then if you're going to test it throughout the day, either an hour before you eat or 2 hours after you eat, because then, when you eat something, it's going to change it right away. But more of a baseline would be on an empty stomach. Okay, so some pros to the alkaline diet. It preserves muscle mass, which I'm having a hard time wrapping my head around because like I'm pretty sure you need protein for muscle. But it says that potassium-rich foods like fruit and veggies might help adults over 65 preserve their muscle mass or maintain their muscle mass. This was based on a 3-year study that included 384 men and women. So I'd have to look more into that one. I don't know. It's kind of interesting. There are other studies that show that it is good, and I'll get into those. Another pro is that and they say might because they never say definitively that something's going to happen, but it might help prevent diabetes. A study of 66,485 women over 14-year span found that there was 1,372 new cases of diabetes of these 66,000 women. The ones that got it were the ones that had the most acid forming diets. So they just followed all these women for 14 years. That's insane.
Yeah, right.
And then they would have tracked what they were eating. And so the ones that did get diabetes were the ones that had the most acidic
that makes sense.
diets. Yeah. So this is why they're connecting the two. They just have like more of a higher risk when you eat these things, more of a higher risk of developing diabetes.
And I think that's for any disease too, right? Depending on how your body, what your genetics are and blah, 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 right?
Yeah, I would assume so. It helps to improve your immune function and could be a protection against cancer. The reason being is when you're in an alkaline environment, the chances of apoptosis is more likely. So that's cell death. And we want cell death when we have cancer because we want those mother effers to die, right?
Yes.
More pros are to maintain a constant blood pH. Blood takes minerals from the bones to buffer acids from acid-forming foods. They can cause bone mineral density loss when you're eating. And so that just goes to like, as well with the protein, like protein in bones, it says it's supposed to help it for those reasons.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Prevents plaque from forming in the blood vessels. Obviously, plaque is like gunk, like muck in there, right? You can see it on live blood analysis. It looks like a crystal basically in your blood. It's just gunk in there. When we think of like people who have heart attacks and their arteries are all clogged, that's plaque, right? It stops calcium from accumulating in the urine. So what are those stones?
Kidney stones, yeah.
Yeah, it can help prevent that. Builds stronger bones, lowers risk for hypertension and stroke, lowers chronic inflammation and pain, and boosts vitamin absorption. So, I mean, when you hear just that, you're like, yeah, this diet sounds pretty awesome.
Right.
But then you remember that it's just vegetables and you're like, absolutely not. No. So let's go to the cons because I do have a list. Okay, lack of protein. 10 to 35% of our daily calories come from protein. So when you're not eating, I mean, yeah, there is a little bit of protein in vegetables, but it's not the same as like, 40 grams of protein eating a steak, right? Or 20 grams eating a chicken breast. So it could contribute to malnutrition. And then this says to muscle mass lost, which is a total
So that just contradicts what
and I wrote that contradiction. And that was in the same article that I read. So I was like, I don't understand. Is it creating muscle mass or maintaining muscle mass, or is it decreasing your muscle mass? I have no idea. Is that the only thing I wrote down for a con? Maybe it was. I don't know. I guess that could be the only con, is that like you're not eating meat, and that sucks, right?
Yeah.
So all organisms depend on having the right pH so that disease cannot happen in a body that's balanced. So to further what you were saying, that disease in general, not just cancer.
Yeah.
So, I mean, take that into account when you are picking food. Fun fact, urine changes pH, but blood does not change pH. So urine is a poor indicator of overall body pH and general health. So yeah, you can check it.
Yeah.
But it is changed in the day throughout all the foods you eat and drink. So it would be different than like you had a blood test and they told you, or did they make you do a urine test?
This one was just the urine. Can they obviously tell on blood?
So when you have live blood analysis, you can see acidity.
Our cells, that's
because the cells all get all gunked up. It's called aggregation. It just like blobs together.
Because they're supposed to set separately from each other.
Yes, they are. That's right. And I mean, that has to do with like the amount of water in your body and things like that. But as it's more acidic, you're wearing away that water membrane. And then like, if we want to get really into it, so like the red blood cell has hemoglobin on the inside, and that has a positive charge, and that is covered by a water membrane, which has a negative charge. And so if you remember from like elementary school, when you take magnets, 2 negative ends will repel and 2 positive ends will repel, but a negative and a positive end will attract, right? And so when you have all of these negative membraned cells, they bounce off of each other because they're negative charged, right? As soon as it gets really acidic, it starts to eat away at that membrane, right? And then you're just left with a positive hemoglobin charge on the inside. So now you have a negative charged water membrane here and a positive charged hemoglobin right here, and then they're going to stick together. And this is why they get all clumped up together. It's called blood sludge aggregation, and it is a good indicator that there is a lot of acidity inside of your blood. Yeah. So fun fact, if you're checking your urine every day and you're like, oh my God, I'm so acidic, like, yeah, change your food, but it's not the best indicator of everything that's going on the inside. Now let's talk alkaline diet as it relates to cancer. New studies are showing that cancer cells have been able to grow in an alkaline diet. Maybe that could go under my con list a little bit. So, that's just a new study. You need to hear all sides of the story right before you make a decision. But there have been experiments that have created an alkaline environment, and cancer cells can still grow.
But it just makes sense.
Yeah. So like
when you think about disease in your body and stuff, it's like when I got sick, I like to go back to this. Like, how would I have ever known I had parasites, infested parasites, mold, heavy metals? I thought it was fine. I thought I was actually a really healthy person prior, right?
Yeah, of course. You worked out all the time and you were thin.
And I ate good
and you meal prepped and you felt good. That's right.
Right. But you just don't really know.
Yes. No, you don't. Right. But yeah, this new study showing that cancer cells have been able to grow in an alkaline environment. So does that completely debunk the alkaline diet altogether? I don't know. Is that just one study that shows it? I don't know.
I think it's a silly study.
Like I'm not putting a lot of weight into it because I mean, you can look up anything on the internet and find pros and cons or yeses and nos to anything. Like if we say, well, we have said this, sugar feeds cancer. And then like when I did all the research on it, there was all these things that said, no, it doesn't. So it's like,
I think that's also them wanting to feed our brains.
Yeah. Like who's scrubbing the internet?
Right.
I think there's a lot out there that, decides what we see. So, you have to use some better judgment for these things. Tumors grow faster in an acidic environment themselves, but the study had found that the tumor itself created the acidic environment that it was living in. So I guess the question is cancer caused by acidic environments or does cancer cause the acidic environment?
I think they both go hand in hand.
I think so.
Once your body's already acidic and then you have something that's growing from that and then it just makes everything worse, right? Like it's growing and then the tumor and blah, blah.
That's right. Yes, you're right. So if like causes like, so if you have an acidic environment, it's going to create more of an acidic environment, right? If you have a more alkaline environment and the foods you put in are more alkaline, it's going to create more alkaline. Yes. So you're right. I do think like that one is kind of both, that cancer is caused by an acidic environment, but it also causes an acidic environment. I don't think it's either one or the other.
I don't believe so.
Do you know Dr. Axe?
I don't think so.
I don't know his credentials, quite honestly. I did, but brain, but he's a doctor that I quite often will look up because he's like us in his mindset. And I just appreciate a lot of the research that he does. But he was saying that there is no diet that's better for longevity and starving off disease than a mostly plant-based alkaline diet. Which is insane because I was like really hoping that he was going to say like there's nothing better than a carnivore diet for getting rid of disease. And I do think that there are some things with that too. I would love to do an episode on the carnivore diet. I did when I had my own show, but with like an expert in the field to talk about it because I do know of stories of people getting rid of their cancer with a carnivore diet. So I would love to know the research on that. But anyway, so in the past 200 years, like our food has changed a lot. 200 I thought was generous, but I guess since industrial revolution, when they've started to industrialize the way that our food is created and packaged and whatever. So it's changed a lot. Like, but people ate differently prior to that. Even if you look back to the 70s and the 60s, like the rates of obesity have greatly changed. The rates of diseases, cancers, diabetes, childhood issues, mental health, like everything has changed and it's like off the charts than it was. And maybe people will say that it wasn't reported nearly as much as it is now, or they didn't have social media to like disperse information. Maybe.
But what about all the studies? Did they just not want to do
I guess
studies?
It depends how it fits their agenda, Ashley. But I believe that food is a lot different than it used to be.
Of course it is.
It used to be a ratio. This was so interesting. It used to be a ratio of potassium to sodium of 10 to 1. So 10 times the amount of potassium as there was sodium. Now it's 1 to 3. So 1 potassium to every 3 sodium. So we have that much more sodium in our diet. And salt is not a bad thing by any means.
When you have the right salt.
It's a mineral and your body uses it as an electrolyte, but like...
Not the chemically processed table white salt.
Yes, that's
not that one.
So obviously that's going to affect the alkalinity of a body when you have 3 times more in your body. Like your numbers are so unbalanced. So like no wonder we have super acidic bodies. Our diet is high in refined fats now, sugar, sodium, low in magnesium and potassium, low in antioxidants, low in fiber, vitamins, etc. So like no wonder our bodies are getting
struggling,
sick, right? this all results in increased acidosis or high acidity in the body. So, takeaways, like what do you need to do for this? You need to eat organic. And we didn't talk about that, but like if you're buying fruits and veggies and you're consuming a lot of fruits and veggies, like that also includes juicing. It has to be organic, and that sucks.
Or a garden.
Yeah, or a garden, right? Like even better. I wish we lived somewhere hot so that we could grow all year long. Now that it's like coming to the end of the season and my veggies are starting to slow down.
Sad, right?
Yeah, right. So people say like organic is just too expensive. You're right, it is, and it's an absolute crime, but it's important.
It is.
Right? It really is. Google the clean 15 and the dirty dozen. Find out which ones for sure need to be organic. There are some that you can get away with, like a banana or an orange or an avocado because it has a thick peel on it. Things like strawberries and lettuce, things like, that you definitely want to go with organic. So Google those things and find out which ones are better for lower pesticides and things like that. It's also good to eat local produce. So things that are more native to your town. Obviously in a cold place, we don't have a lot of stuff like that, but we grow apples here. We grow, what else can we grow here? Is that it?
Oranges?
Strawberries? I don't think we can grow oranges here.
I wish we could.
I think that's like a Florida thing.
I guess there's raspberries.
Yeah, like we could definitely grow berries here.
Strawberries.
Yeah, we can grow berries. We can grow, I don't know, ground fruit.
You're talking to someone who's never had a garden, but is supposed to be working on it. My brother-in-law is amazing and made me those garden boxes. But I didn't. I was too tired.
Next year's your year. I was supposed to teach you now that we were talking about
bee.
So sorry about that. It's okay. You get lettuce.
I'm too tired.
I have lots of kale to give you
I
today.
I get yours, and then my other girlfriend, he's got beets for me in here.
See, so yeah, it's important to eat stuff that's locally grown, just because. And I think we talked about this on another episode that they have to pick it unripe, which is not really great for you anyway. And then they have to put a whole bunch of preservatives and crap in it so that they can ship it across wherever continent.
So it stays.
Yeah.
Preserves it.
Are you all right? Should we take a nap?
I would love to, actually. I had one before I came.
Oh, sounds awesome. But yeah, so that they have to add all that crap to it so that you can have it. And then it has a shelf life of like under a week. Why? Because it was picked a month ago. So, like organic or non-pesticides, like fresh from the garden food lasts a lot longer.
Yeah.
So eat more alkaline, eat less acidic. That's definitely the main takeaway from today. Drink alkaline water. You have that, what's it called?
Kangen.
The Kangen. Yeah. So what was I saying the other day when I was learning that you actually don't need to jack it up high because you have it at like 9 something, right?
Well, I drink the 9.5, but the machine itself sits at a 4.
And I think what my teacher told me was that it needs to be just around 7 something, right?
I mean, there's a 7 button, but I've always, just because even learning that my P's the 6.5. So I go in between both of them. If I'm feeling more down or whatever, I'll do the 9.5. It's just a mix, right?
I don't know anything about it. I only heard about this thing 2 weeks ago, so I can't say either way. But if you can't, afford a Kangen or you just don't have access to that or whatever, you can put baking soda in your water, just like half a teaspoon in your water. It's gross. It tastes like
it is gross. You made me do it the other night.
Fish. Piss water. It's so gross. But it is good. And buy like nice stuff. Don't buy Arm & Hammer. Buy Bob's Red Mill, or if you can find like an organic or whatever. Buy a nice baking soda. Test your pH. This guy says the second morning pee, which I said already. And that's your 1 hour before meal or 2 hours post meal. And it says that humans, like if you're testing your saliva, it usually runs between 6.8 and 8.2 for a human. If you're like way off those charts, like I would get to maybe a doctor and find out why.
What you can do.
Yeah. And so finally, the last thing I wrote down here was just like other things that are causing acidity. And then we will be done lecturing you. So
ourselves.
Yeah. I'm like, should I go make a salad? Alcohol and drugs, obviously high caffeine intake, antibiotics, no surprise there. Artificial sweeteners, again, no surprise there. That's like pure poison. Chronic stress, 100% no surprise there. When you're like angry all the time, like what do you think that's doing inside of you? It's not doing anything good. Lack of exercise, again, it's like stagnant. When it's stagnant, things are not moving, things are not great. Excess animal meats from non-grass-fed sources. So that gave me a little bit of hope that if I just bought like really clean meat, I could add it into my food. And I don't eat like a ton, like I should, because I'm an O blood type, but I don't eat a ton of meat in any given setting. Because I can't, I'm just too full. So if I just add like nice grass-fed or wild caught or like pasture raised food into there, I think that would be good.
And it would taste better.
It would taste better. And then it wouldn't have like the hormones and the antibiotics and stuff in there, because it says like hormones in food is definitely causing poor acidity for us. Food coloring, you know that they're changing the names of food coloring?
Did they?
Like I Googled this the other day because Andrew came home with these noodles and they were like fresh, like chow mein.
So like that red 40
Shanghai
stuff?
Whatever. Yeah, it was called tartazine, I think it was the name. And I Googled what that was because I was like checking all these ingredients and I thought, these are just noodles. Like, shouldn't it just be like wheat and water and salt? No, tartazine, it just said it's yellow number, whatever. It's just like the name of it.
Of course they're changing it.
Because like, who's going to actually sit there and Google? You might quickly glance and go, oh, it has red number, blue number, whatever.
We should make a scanny thing.
Yeah, we should.
With all the research
we do. Totally. We need an app developer.
We need an app.
I don't know. Anything? Right. Some more things causing acidic environments are preservatives, over-exercise. Probably because like your body needs a break. This is why they say you need like a rest day. Pesticides, of course, again, going back to like the organic food and like certified organic, not like we're just pretending we're organic. Pollution and shallow breathing.
Yeah, when they spray us over with the line.
Yeah, of course. Do you know that when you're yawning, it's from lack of oxygen?
Wow.
And so if you're falling asleep, if you were to take like some big breaths like in through your nose, out through your mouth right now, it would probably
like pass out.
No. Well, if you're gonna pass out, it definitely means you're not getting enough oxygen and your body is like in this like weird. But if you're a person who yawns a lot, which like I am, it's because you're not getting enough oxygen, which could create an acidic environment inside of you.
So I'm tired.
Being mindful of like, but maybe you're tired because you're actually not getting enough oxygen.
Well, we're gonna find out here right away.
Yes.
You know.
Yes. Well, okay. That is it on the alkaline diet. Tell us what you think. I mean, maybe we didn't paint it in the best light because we're like, F you vegetables, but like, actually, like we really love vegetables. I hated it when I first got sick and I was eating raw vegan and like juicing a lot. And it was like, number one, because I felt like if I didn't, I was going to die.
Yes. But that's the thing.
Yeah.
It was in our brains that if we didn't do this, we were going to die.
Well, because it's like a PTSD thing now.
Yes. It's hard.
But like also it like hurt my guts. And so I think there is something to like steaming your vegetables, or if you're eating like a dark leafy green, massaging them, or whatever, eating lightly cooked.
I have so many doctors like, you need to cook your vegetables. The raw doesn't bother me when I eat it, because I always make my little, stuff, my little veggie things to take with me, and it doesn't bother me.
I remember being pregnant with Eden and like eating, anytime I'd eat cucumber or like snap peas, just being like doubled over, like bloated. I should actually show you a picture from when I was away. So I was away a couple weeks ago and we were eating very clean and that was good. Like we had some A blood types and we had some O blood types, and she wanted to feed all of us without having to change the meal.
Yes.
So we were eating a lot more vegetables. And like, again, as an O blood type, I'm a red meat eater. And yeah, obviously vegetables are good, but we were also eating a lot of like turkey and chicken and stuff. And my body was like, nope, we're not.
Because your body's like, oh, I haven't seen this in a while.
These are vegetables.
What is this on your back?
I gotta find this picture. It was so bad. It was like this for days.
Jeez, that looks like me 24/7.
Let me see if I can show the picture. Look at that. Like I was like 6 months pregnant, maybe 5 months pregnant in that picture. And it was horrible. And then when we got to the coffee enema unit, I was like, praise the Lord. Thank you, Jesus. And I get to suck all this poop out of my body. And it was nice. Also, I was editing our episode the other day. We were talking about coffee enemas. And I said that I'm going for a colonic soon. So I had that colonic and it was friggin' amazing. If you were in the Edmonton area, just reach out to me and I will give you the name of this girl. It was so awesome. Like, what a great experience. And I'm down 6 pounds. Not that that's like really matters or anything, but like
6 pounds of poop that was stuck in her.
Like at one point, she's like watching it go through the tube and she was like, oh, that was unprecedented.
This girl is the queen of coffee enemas. So you can just think about other people like me. I'm afraid to do it, but it's like we don't realize how much poops in us.
Lately, I've done coffee enemas every single day just because I feel better doing it, and I know that I have to juice and get all those vegetables and minerals in my body, and so I'm doing it. I'm making myself do it, and I still have that much. She said at one point she saw 3 feet go, like in the tube, and she's like, that was unprecedented. I'm like, oh, do people not have this much? And she's like, well, they do, but not from one area. And so she's there and she's massaging all around your stomach and moving it, and you're like, oh, you know when you have diarrhea and you're like, if I don't get to a toilet, I'm gonna poo on my floor. That's what it feels like, except you have a tube and you're like, you have to mentally get over the fact that like, I'm not going to go all over this lady's floor. So when my friend was over, she told me that she had one as a child, but because it was a much smaller inside, I don't think they accounted for that when they used the pressure and the water and stuff. And it was just too much and it just went everywhere. And she said it was just like a poo fountain all over this woman's office. And so I think she's probably fairly traumatized by that. Isn't that terrible? It's like pretty much all of our nightmares.
Oh my God. After my first surgery, I couldn't poop. And I was just in so much pain. And also, we didn't know everything else was happening. So
right. Because of all the painkiller.
Right. And so we ended up in the hospital. And the lady, I've never had an enema before in my life. My second oldest sister's with me. It was so hot in that room. It was so bad. But the lady, she was putting me in, she was just cracking all these jokes like the nurse. Every time she'd make me laugh, it would spray on her. And I'm like, oh my God, stop. No. It was so bad.
Oh my God.
Oh my God, it was the funniest thing ever. It brought me a lot of joy because it wasn't so much pain.
I mean, I'm glad you found joy in that. That's like my nightmare.
It was, she made, you know, at the end of the day, those poor nurses, they've seen it all.
And they chose to go into nursing.
It's true. And like, what was I going to do? Be embarrassed? I needed to poop. And like,
well, I wondered, like in the Mexican clinics that have coffee enemas, I'm like, do they stay the whole time? And
well, no, it was just her getting it in. And then she was, putting it in. And then it just was like.
The thing about a coffee enema tube is like this thin, right? Yeah. The thing about a colonic tube is it's like this thin. No, it's not quite. It's like a recorder, you know, like the little recorders from when we were a kid, like.
But
that.
Is it soft?
No, it's hard. But it only goes in this much.
Okay.
It doesn't go up 6 8 inches.
Because I can wreck the colon.
Yeah, no, it only goes right to the muscle.
See what we have to do for coffee.
Yeah, well, they will. 2 weeks ago, they will have watched our coffee episode because these are all well recorded in advance. But if you're watching this today on the day it comes out, go back 2 episodes, and that is our coffee enema episode. And I go through full
I've
detail.
done 2 since then.
And do you love them?
I do. The first one was a disaster.
Yeah, that's
because I didn't know really what I was doing. And
you gotta learn.
Yeah. And then the second one, it was amazing, and yeah, it works really, really well, and I felt so much better. The first one I felt wonky because I did it at nighttime, and I think that I didn't have enough time for myself to like prepare or hydrate or anything.
Yeah, and what I've heard is like you should do it in the morning to recreate a morning bowel movement, which I'd never done. And I'm not super affected by caffeine. Like I said, when I drink my iced coffee, I just like the taste. I can do it at night, and I'm not usually wired.
I was just so dehydrated. For me.
Oh yeah.
And so when I woke up in the morning, I was like double stepping.
You're like hungover. Right? I got a coffee out of my hangover.
Yeah. But when I did it in the afternoon, that one, and then I had prepped my juice. Felt great.
Did you see the post I posted on our page yesterday about the pillow? Okay, let me grab it while we're chatting here. So give me a second here. Okay. So it was my big plan. Well, I should come close. It was my big plan to like do medical tattoos, like nipples on mastectomy patients, or even eyebrows, things like that. And so I took a course, and then the lady was like, well, actually, like mini tattoos or the micro tattoos would be a lot better because, you know, people will think about their eyebrow tattoo for like 6 months, but like someone will walk in today and get a micro tattoo. So she said, if you want to make more money, go that way. And I was like, okay, let's do it. Well, it turns out I'm not artistic or good. So
I'm sure you are.
I'm sure like I gave myself a couple, but like they're okay. Like they're not great. I need practice. But anyway, so I got these pillows made by both of our friends, and she calls them murder pillows.
Like, it makes sense. It's you can clean this.
Is that why she named them?
Well, I would assume.
Well, I remember
in my mind,
her and I were hanging out like years ago, and she was like, "What should I name it?" And then she's like, "What do you think of murder pillow?" And I was like, "Okay, cool." Like I didn't know. But she sells them as tattoo pillows, so it's like a medical grade vinyl, and she picks any fabric. So I picked this like gorgeous sparkly one, and the other one I have it's pink and it has like a Highland cow on it. And I thought, you know, if I'm giving people medical grade tattoos on their boobies or whatever, like they're gonna want to lay and rest. And so I bought a couple. You know, I haven't done that because obviously, like I've been sick and stuff. But I was doing my enema yesterday, and I thought instead of going into my kid's room and grabbing her Squishmallow, which I do all the time because they're comfortable, why not grab something that I can clean very easily? And I did, and it was awesome, and I'm going to use it forever. So I posted it, and I tagged her, and I'm like, hopefully this is a new market for murder pillows, is coffee enema pillows. So you maybe I'll post it in the coffee enema group. Yeah, they're so awesome. Like, feel that.
I need a bigger one.
I have a bigger one. Yeah. The other one is like this.
Yeah. Well, that's the one
like a big square. Yeah, this is just the one in the closet right now, but the other one I have because I had to clean it.
Like arm or...
Yeah, exactly. Like you could, I suppose, just lay on it. But anyway, check out Murder Pillows. I believe is just how her name is on Instagram. I will tag her on here. But if you do enemas, or even if you like do tattoos, this has nothing to do with anything that we talk about. But check her out. Murder Pillows and Things. So yeah. Okay. Well, that is it for the Alkaline Diet. Thank you for listening.
And coming back and supporting.
And this is episode. I don't even know because I haven't edited everything. 20 probably.
I think it's 20. Yeah,
something
I think
like
the one
21 maybe.
Because 17 we just posted.
No, I think it was 18. Oh no, 18 is the next week, and then 19, 20. Yeah, this will be number 21. So, yeah, good for us.
We're doing it.
Yeah, we're doing it. As always, we are not doctors, and we don't know anything.
Our experience and Google.
Yeah, I don't even use Google because Google is...
No, what do you use? Because that's what my phone gives me.
I use DuckDuckGo. You definitely have to search more because it is more scrubbed, and even they say that one's selling out. So I don't know. I don't believe a lot of the things, but you have to like use better judgment and research everything and get books, right? You can't just see something that you saw on TikTok and then like not see an opposing view. Like if you want to make an educated decision, you have to like know all the sides. But anyway, yeah, that's what it is. So thank you again, and be back. I don't know, next week we're going to talk about
relationships.
Yeah, relationships. How's it going? We need one where we just like don't have to read off the paper.
That's all.
Whatever. I love a good research.
Right? You're good.